Thursday, November 5th, there's a lot of weather to talk about. There's wind warnings, wind advisories, heavy rain. Pretty much the whole West Coast being impacted by this weather system. The largest impacts are going to be up around the Pacific Northwest, up around Seattle and Northern California, Cape Mendocino North, all the way in here. That's the main event. You can see the system sliding through right now. But what you do see, you do see this. Look at that. That's a bad boy. That is subtropical moisture, my friend. And look at, I'm just trying to draw a straight line, but I'm cheating a little bit because I know where it's going to go. So I'm drawing it right to the coast of California. That's about Point Arena. That's that moisture. That's a couple thousand miles. Yeah, 1,800 miles. I can't see past there. But that's a moisture plume over 1,000 miles long, headed for Northern California and here. Now the dynamics are up in here, so that's why we're anticipating this moisture plume to have the main impact north of Eureka, pardon me, all the way in here. And that's going to continue for the next couple days. You'll see that in the forecast models. But this is why Southern California gets almost zero. But Southern California, you get a break because you're getting a break from the bad air quality, because the winds are kicking in. You had 2 days of bad air down there. I saw it. I saw purple air was showing reds for all you guys, except right on the coast. So that's a good thing. Bay Area is getting beneficial rainfall, but kind of negative wind. I was looking around for trees down, but the winds are, negative wind, beneficial rain, like not flooding. Inch and a half, inch and a half. I think Marin's up to a half inch of rain. But you got wind gusts. You got wind gusts. Mount Tam was 52 miles an hour. Wind gusts up on Diablo up around 55 miles an hour. Down sea level, we've got winds 35, 40 miles an hour. Ocean Beach, the sand is blowing. I'll take you to some pictures there. But this is the general lay of the land. So what's it all mean? It means that this main rain's going through the populated area, Bay Area, right now. Scattered light showers the rest of the day, winds die down. Everybody south, just ride it out, bro. You're good. And maybe some stuff in the Big Sur hills as this moisture plume plugs in. But the moisture in but after lunchtime, things should start to die down. North of this line, though, this moisture is going to start to get pulled back into here. And so they're going to continue on with stuff. So that's the general lay of the land. This is all the stuff. This is wind advisories. Golds are wind advisories. Storm warnings, greens. It's on. It's on the West Coast. But you notice that most of the heavy stuff is north of Marin County, right? Heavy stuff. And in the Pacific Northwest, they're getting flood watches. They're not expecting extreme flooding, not big river flooding or anything like that, but it's a lot of rain in a short amount of time. Well, not even a short amount of time. It's going to continue to rain up there for a few days. So here is the 24-hour rain totals. Here are the 24-hour rain totals. And you can see, that's all manageable, right? And then you get into Northern California. This is sort of the sweet spot for this. 2 inches of rain north of Cape Mendocino. And I did say 40 degrees north, which is about Cape Mendocino right here. But that's sort of not the dry line, but that's the bulk of the moisture is moving north of here. So you guys, in Point Arena, you know who you are. You're getting it too. But everything north of, let's say north of Sonoma County, is going to continue with some light scattered showers throughout the day and heavier along the coast. Again, these are 24-hour totals. And as I go south, you can see the rainfall really taper off. This is a beneficial rainfall for everybody. Although I just saw that 4.16 in 24 hours. So that's got Shelter Cove. It's dumping up there. And I've had reports from you guys. So you guys are, I don't want to say you're on your own, but you know where you live, man. You know how much rain you get. Because again, it's a subtropical moisture tap, so orographics, right? So the first thing that moisture hits is the coastal hills. And the hills up around Cape Mendocino and the Lost Coast are big. It's a couple thousand feet and beyond, and it's like it just dumps up there. So we'll take a look at that coming up. Here are some of the wind gusts. First, we started Southern California. Why? Because they got wind, and it breaks up that inversion. Ontario's blowing 11 miles an hour. Thousand Oaks, 13 miles an hour. So you guys get a break. You also have your surf advisories. So you're much happy to see that. Big surf advisories along the coast all the way down through Malibu. Storm warnings offshore. And then as you come further north, these are wind gusts. And you can see 64 miles an hour out towards Reno. I mean, the big number I saw today was 75 up around Klamath Falls. But it's windy. It's windy. That's why there's all the wind advisories. And the wind should start to back off in the next hour or so. And I think it already has. But it's a windy day as well. So nasty commute. This is up around Wairika, kind of in that area I was talking about, in that zone where it's kind of where they're right in the sweet spot for this, where you're seeing that Cape Mendocino rain up to 4 inches of rain in 24 hours, right? That's a lot of rain. And that looks like a storm to me, man. Just waves. And can you feel that? I mean, when I say feel it, you see that moisture coming in, and it's AR, I'm sure we were, but it's subtropical moisture, and it's just comes in, and it doesn't have a lot of form to it. It's just like a fire hose, but then it hits those hills and just goes whoosh and slows down and just starts spraying everywhere. And that's what's happening. And that's what's going to happen, continue to happen in the north of Cape Mendocino as we go into tonight and tomorrow. Here's the back edge of the front. Here's the cloud cover that's moving into Southern California. Yes, maybe a few light sprinkles from this in Southern California, but not anticipating the 1.5 inches of rain, the 3 inches, the 4 inches of rain we've seen in this zone of California. This is the footprint for the next 3 days, rainfall footprint. And again, that mimics exactly what we were talking about. Remember I showed you that big moisture stream or field? And it's all north. And you know what else you can see too? So talk about orographic lifting. That's just the moisture. The orographic lifting is a mechanical way to get the more rain. Mechanical being that it hits the hills. So the mechanical lifting along this coast range, right? It's producing, they're forecasting 4 and 5 inches of rain in this area over the next 3 days. And then again in the Lake Tahoe, Cascades, all the way north. So you can see the orographic effects. Does that make sense? So you can see the hills, the coastal hills, and then the Cascades and the Sierra Nevada, and that's where the most rain will fall. Typically in almost any storm, but in this storm in this event more than most because of its subtropical nature. And you see it piling in here. This is you'd expect snow in November, but you're not getting it. You're not going to see snow below 7,000 feet. This is up at Truckee Meadows, or near Truckee, and the storm just moving in. That moisture just it inundates. It inundates. And then this is the Golden Gate Bridge. Can you find it? And then you can see Alcatraz Island, GGB right there, and Golden Gate Park. And what are they building there, by the way? Do you notice that big cranes out there by the park? And then this is the way it looks all day in San Francisco. Umbrellas will be needed. It's still breezy. The heaviest rains have probably are going through in the morning. By afternoon, it should mellow out. This is the National Weather Service out of Washington and Oregon, just showing the wind advisories. They're expecting wind gusts to 70 miles an hour. Now, I think the takeaway there is the winds sustained to 50 miles an hour, and you see all the watches and warnings. This is out of Oregon. This is out of Sacramento. The greens, that weird green is Seahawk green, I guess, is the king tides. Those last through Thursday, so through tomorrow. And they're big. And this is the thing that's impressive. See this purple? Storm warning? Are you kidding me? I'm pretty sure that's as high as it gets. Like you don't get a warning more gnarly than that. So are they running container ships offshore? Are they pushing in through the gate? I don't know. I don't know. I suspect they're rerouting and waiting till this afternoon because of the winds. There was a business called, I'll get to the models, you can scrub. That a business used to be called Ocean Routes. And a lot of the guys I work with, I went to meteorology, atmospheric science school with, would go to work for Ocean Routes. And we're forecasting weather for container ships. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, so they don't get bumpy. It's like, no, because the profile, you know this probably, I didn't know this as a young, dumb kid, but the profile on a container ship, right, think about it. It's just like, how high is it? I don't know, it's 100 feet, 100 feet maybe? Yeah, just above a wall, sheer wall, that is going to be impacted by the wind. So you get a wind like this today, it's going to cost millions of dollars in extra diesel to get that damn thing anywhere. And so I don't even know if Ocean Routes still exists. But I was like, I want to work there. It was a tough job because you had to work overnight. It was like swing shift work, and they'd grab all the young, dumb graduate students, But a storm warning's a big deal. and it's very dangerous conditions along the coast. As a matter of fact, I'm going to just go to it right now. Watch this. That's this Ocean Beach right now. Yeah, and they're calling it like 8 to 10. Tomorrow goes up to 15 feet, but that ocean, you see how it's just confused, jacked around? It's because you can't, I mean, the wind's blowing south at 50 miles an hour. You can see the backspray. See the backspray coming off the waves. So the wind is blowing this way really aggressively. The swell is coming in this way. Oh yeah, the tide, what's the tide doing right now? Tide should be going out. So the tide's pulling out through the Golden Gate Bridge. So it's like, dude, like you put me out there, I'd be in big trouble. So that's how Ocean Beach looks right now. Let me see if I can get us back to where we were. I just want you to see that. And then, okay, and here we go. This is the, out of LA, just saying, hey, listen, air quality's better. And let's see what else they got. And then and they're just showing the winds. So that's cool. So purple air does show not the best air quality down there, but better. Yesterday, you guys, Riverside and all that, it was straight up reds. So today, better already. And by tonight, a distant memory. These are the forecast highs for today. Pretty pleasant. 75 in Bakersfield. I went to the Pulgas Water Temple. You're going to have to scrub this if you want to get to the malls. Malls are right ahead here a little bit. But I went to the Pulgas Water Temple. I dropped my van off. These are the highs from today. I dropped my van off down at to get it fixed. It just had a leak in it. It's one of those Sprinter vans, forever. They're awesome, but there's just so much stuff on it. It's like driving around in a house, right? And it's vibrating, so things come loose. But I went to the Pulgas Water Temple, which my grandpa used to tell me about, because they finished, I think, in 1930. Grandpa, they all drove down from the city to see this first Hetch Hetchy water come into this. It's basically the pipe. San Francisco, okay, real quick. San Francisco was having issues with water. They didn't have any good water sources. Think about San Francisco. There were some streams and stuff up by Twin Peaks, but they didn't have good water sources. And so people were getting sick. You can imagine. This is all the way up into the late 1800s, early 1900s. So they were such badasses at mining and building railroads. Because think about it. This is how this place was built. It was Transcontinental Railroad, mines, whatever, right? So it's like, yeah, we can dig a tunnel from Hetch Hetchy all the way under the bay, all the way out to Crystal Springs, and they did. They dug it. Now, me and John Muir are against it. I know how beautiful Hetch Hetchy would have been, but they didn't know. Right? They're just like, dude, it's on. Woo, get some water. So I went to the Water Temple, which is a tribute. And my grandpa they talk about it. He remembers going down there, and when first water came through those spillways, it was actually the water coming from Hetch Hetchy all the way, and it was in a big canal, all the way to Crystal Springs. I don't know. I went off base a little bit there, but it's a pretty beautiful reflecting font. These are the highs for tomorrow. So a little warmer, a little nicer day tomorrow, a lot nicer day tomorrow. Less wind, less rain, but north still kind of a thing. And now finally we get to the models. Here is the HRRR. Well, first thing I want to do is I'll show you where it's raining right now, so we make sure we verify that we initiate the models well. So that's where the rain is now. So if I start a model at this time and it doesn't look kind of like this, I'm like, oh, it's not going to get the rest of it right. But you can see the rain, that main rain band moving through. That's the current. And then this is the HRRR, and this is as of right now, which is about right. It's about right. And then this is the hourly update model. So look at you're seeing a lot of really favorable orographics here. This is the best model, by the way, HRRR, if you can get within 24 hours. It updates every hour, right? And and the other models don't. Other models 4 times a day, 5 times, 6 times a day. There's rapid update models. This is kind of I think it's the best one. And this only goes out of 24 hours or so. So here we are at 10 o'clock this morning, and you see it's starting to back up. You see Northern California still getting popped. This is towards this afternoon. This is 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock this afternoon. So 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. So Lake Tahoe, are you worried about traveling up there? Don't. The snow's not going to be a problem. And then you see a kind of breaks off. The moisture plume sags to the north. See how it's pushing to the north? And then we're going to see another wave come through Del Norte County. That is tomorrow afternoon. So you see, right, that's the wet dry line. There's Cape Mendocino. That's what I was talking about. So that's as far as that model goes. This is the North American model, not as granular, but more granular than the GFS. And let's get it to now current. That's current time. And you see it's kind of scuddy through this afternoon. Sprinkles, keep the umbrellas handy. It's mostly centered up here. And then this will go out further. And then we'll see that next wave come through tomorrow afternoon. That times out with the HRRR. That times out pretty good. But see, and that's good rain. And so that comes through. And then you see a little break on Friday. And then it should be, there's another wave. We'll see that in the next model. This is the longer range, less granular model. This is the GFS, sea level pressure. And this is, let's get it to right now. Okay, so we're right now. That looks a little aggressive, but it's right about there. And then see the winds dying down. How do I know the winds are dying down? Because see the black lines, wherever you are, so if they're close together like here, it's windy. But if it's spread apart, or if it's close together, like these are railroad ties close together, it's breezy up there in Oregon and Washington. Not so for much of California. And then here we are Thursday morning. Okay, that's nice, cool. And then there's that plug that goes through Thursday afternoon, Del Norte County. Again, there's the rain line. And then you get a break for a little while into Saturday, into Sunday. And then here comes into Tuesday, into Wednesday, and then here comes this. This next one's interesting because you see where it's coming from? A little further south, huh? And then that looks like it's a gamer for everybody all the way into LA. And that is what you go, what is that, Bill? Well, that's the 13th of November. So what is that? A few days away, man. That's next Thursday. A week, almost a week from today. So after today, generally dry, Northern California, not Pacific Northwest, you guys just hang on wet. Here is this rainfall accumulation. We like this because it shows us kind of the general footprint. 12Z Thursday morning, that's where we are. So tomorrow morning it looks like that, essentially, this accumulation. And then it kind of loads up again. Look up here. Look at that bullseye. Wow. That Northern California, man, you guys, you know it though. You know. I got so many emails and correspondence from you guys up in Eureka and Arcata, just going, dude, because I did a thing yesterday where I was doing this, but I didn't. I made a mistake. It was raining really hard up there, but I was kind of like looking at this incoming storm, and I was doing too much forecasting and not enough analysis. And I should have been spending a little time up there going, oh yeah, by the way, Eureka got 1.5 inches of rain in the last hour, right? And I didn't do that. Sorry about that. And I heard about it too, and I should have heard about it. So here is the forecast through Saturday morning. And then it slows down, and then here comes that next system. And watch where this is that one that is next Thursday. And look how far south it goes, right? So this is all accumulation, but just basically wet. That's a fire danger ender if things go well. And then we'll look at the Pacific Northwest because I just said our rain dies down this afternoon and the next couple of days are nice, especially south of Cape Mendocino. But look what goes on here. This is these guys. This is their accumulation through Friday morning. And then their accumulation, it just keeps coming for them. It just keeps coming, right? So that's Pacific Northwest through next week as well. So just a lot of rain. None of it looks like it's going to go. None of it looks like it's going to go into red zone, flood warning, big river stuff. But it'll add up. And again, Pacific Northwest. The reason you're not seeing big river flooding or even river flooding is because they're set up to drain. Northern California, they're set up to drain. You know who's not set up to drain? Kind of the Bay Area because of all the building, but mostly, Southern California. That's just the topography. It's a desert. It's not really set up with great drainage. You got the LA River, right? It's a canal. Okay, so here's the system again. Can't get enough of it. It's beautiful. But we are seeing the back edge of it. Today will end up being kind of like, you'll forget that it was in California, Central California and Bay Area, in Santa Rosa even. You're going to go, it was wet this morning. I forgot, it's not too bad today. This afternoon will be much nicer. Up here, it's just going to be on and off stormy for the next week or so. And then there's all the watches and warnings, which you've seen. There's a lot. I hope I didn't try to do too much there. I kind of want you guys to get. There's a lot. I have friends now in Oregon and Seattle and San Diego, and I don't want. And I know I focus a lot on Bay Area because it's in LA because it's a population base, right? It's like more people. But it's funny because it turns out this is that doesn't really matter, but this one does. Look at the above average rainfall. Look at LA. That's that next system I just showed you, right? And that would be that system coming in, giving you above average. But yeah, but but the people who live in Arcata or live in Placerville or live in Klamath Falls, you're kind of the dudes who need it the most. It's sort of ironic because in TV we were like, well, there's nobody lives in Clear Lake. Nobody, right? It's like, yeah, they do. There are a lot of people live up there. But we would all you got a DMI demographic. It's within the DMI. I was always being told focus on these cities, Union City. And I'm saying people in Union City aren't worried about mudslides really. They just aren't. It's urban. But when you live up in Santa Rosa or Fountain Grove or Rincon Valley or whatever, so it's just sort of ironic. So I'm trying to be more sensitive to the outlying areas. I grew up in Paradise, dude. These are the earthquakes. I grew up in Paradise, and in Paradise, look at all the earthquakes today, man. They never mentioned us, and it would go off. Well, you saw the fire, but I mean, we'd have big wind, big rain, big snow, big issues, big this, big that, and literally they just talk about Harry Geist. I loved Harry Geist, but all he did was talk about Sacramento. Okay, here's the Pacific Ring of Fire. I would have essed my pants to hear Harry Geist say, up in Paradise today, it's going to be, because you literally I would have felt like we had arrived. I don't think I ever heard anybody mention Paradise in the news, and until the last 30 years. I know. So I get it. When you live in Wairika, that's why I mention Wairika so much. It's like nobody mentions you, man. You're just like this thing. Anyway, I digress. Here is, we had some big quakes this morning, or yesterday. A 5.7 in Kursk, Russia. This on the Pacific Ring of Fire. This was a 5.7. There's a 6.0 right there. And this is all in the last 24 hours. These are all magnitudes. So look how busy it is. And then let's do the 2.5 or bigger. Okay. So these are the quakes. All the other little quakes are microquakes. And then let's do 30 days of magnitude 4.5 or above. And that's in the last 30 days. And these are almost 5.0s. Really aggressive. Isn't it interesting how really aggressive it is on this side of the plate? I should know why that is. It's a subduction zone. I'm gonna look into that because I've noticed that before too. The bigger quakes seem to occur on this section above Australia and Indonesia and those areas. And then there's our triple point chiming in with a 5.4. That was earlier, obviously, a month ago. So, okay, earthquakes. Let's go to the surf forecast. It's going to be big tomorrow. Here's the West Coast. This is in relationship to the storms that I showed you. These storms creating big surf. It'll be big. I showed you. Well, look at Ocean Beach. It's big. And you can't tell it's big because it's just Victory at Sea. And you know why I call it Victory at Sea? Dude, this is what my teachers hated me. Well, because in the old days, there's a kite boarder out there. Is that a sail? I saw a sail. Oh, I think somebody's trying to kite. Before the newsreels would be Victory at Sea during World War II, maybe even before that. Oh, there is a kite out. I don't know if you can see it. There's somebody kiting, crazy as hell. Victory at Sea, and it would be the boats, the ships, men and women, and the victory. And so the old surfers, when I started surfing, would call a day like this Victory at Sea. And I knew what it meant, but I'm sure the kids are like, what are you talking about? Yeah, there's a kiter out there. I don't know if I think he's crazy. It's windy as hell, gusty winds, storm warning. This is Santa Barbara, or Malibu. And this is that thing I wanted you to see how, this, Northern California, same moment, Southern California. Come on. It's awesome. It's so nice down there. I mean, it's like a Corona commercial or something. Those are container ships probably going to come and leave in the Port LA. And I wonder if they're going north, they're probably going up into the gate, because right, that's your next big stop. And I'm thinking they're probably just lagging down here waiting for that storm to end. I think that's, I don't know this, but I'm going to guess that to be true. If anybody can help me with that, I think that's what they're doing. Because otherwise you don't want to go around Point Conception right now. And we talked about, what do we call it? Ocean routes. Okay, this is Soda Springs. Is it snowing? Ooh, kind of is. Okay, I was wrong on that. Snowing up at Soda Springs right now, 7,000, 8,000 feet. Wet snow for sure, but kind of sticking. Nothing much in the trees. All right, well, listen, by tonight and tomorrow morning, maybe you will need some chains going over that pass. I can't figure. I wonder if that's just cold air from this. Well, we'll keep an eye on it for you. I thought snow level was a little higher than 7,000 feet, but it looks like it might be right around 7,000 feet. Okay, that's cool. Let me escape that. Let's go here. I'm running out of time. Appreciate your patience today. We go to the top of, maybe it's snow up at Palisades. Now, it wasn't earlier. See, now that's interesting, right? It's hard to, yeah, it is snowing up there. But it's pretty wet. This is the top of the tram up at Palisades, Tahoe. And then you're like, what's going on at Mammoth? And I'm going, nothing. Nothing's going on at Mammoth. They will get a little something from it. I'm looking at the trees, too. Not as windy as I would think, but it's probably on the back side of that hill, Mammoth Mountain. This is wind up at Big Bear. Birds are back. Jackie and Shadow are, I heard that Shadow was making the nest, fluffing up the nest. That's the male. And getting it ready for something. So maybe we'll get a repeat from last year. But what I noticed, number one, the water level's low in the res. There's this, flood control, fire control, whatever. And wow, it is windy when that tree blows around. Okay, so that's going to fix your air quality issues down in LA. And it does look like a better day. That's Santa Monica Pier. And Southern California, everybody, 67 degrees today at Venice Beach. I think that was Santa Monica Pier. Yeah, it has to be, right? Kind of hosing off. Maybe a sprinkle down there. There's something, I'm going to say it. I show this every day now because it's so relaxing. And I love seeing the different climatic zones in California. Remember Mount Shasta, we were in Wairika. Well, even when you go north into Oregon and Washington, but just the different, especially in California, the climatic zones. That's right. And this is just an illustration. So you're like, if I'm a 25-year-old man and I graduated college and mom goes, where do you want to work and live? I go, LA. I mean, I didn't do that, but I can see why kids, especially if you're from, Ohio or somewhere, you're like, hell yeah. Okay, so we talked about the wind gusts. Most of the heavy hit is happening now, mid-morning, and then this afternoon for most of California, things are going to mellow out. Pacific Northwest, you stay in the under the gun, if you will, for a couple more days with that moisture streaming in, and then another system comes in next week, a week from now, and brings us an opportunity for a more inclusive round of rain. That's next week, about a week from today. Venice Beach will have rain on it, and the rain will be heavier in the Big Sur mountains than it is in Northern California. At least that's how the footprint looks now. Okay, we'll talk to you tomorrow.